Retro Rewind. Retro Rewind. One-on-one.
Let's head to the Retro Hotline. On the phone is Phil Oakey from the Human League, their lead singer and chief songwriter. Hey, Phil, how are you?
Hi, David.
It's a pleasure to have you here on the show. We're big fans, and we'll just cut right to the chase. We want to know when we can hear some new Human League music. When's it coming out?
Well, we're working on things right now. We had a bit of a shock. The last album that we did, which ended up coming out, I think, in 2002, was the first one since 1980 that didn't have a top 40 hit on it. Actually, it's the first one that didn't have a top 10 hit on it, I think, in Britain, and it caused us to think very hard about what was happening to the music business. We had a little hiatus and tried to make the live show a little bit better than it was, and now we're back trying to do the same old thing again. A little bit of disco, a little bit of electro, but keeping it very up to date. The beats have got to be heavier than they used to be, and I think the songs have got to be a little bit less complex, less sort of verse, chorus, link, chorus, mid-eight stuff, a little bit more linear. So we're doing that, trying to make it catchy.
Well, you just mentioned your last album, Secrets, that came out, I think, right before 9/11, and I think, after that, obviously, things changed, and I think maybe your label folded, and I just don't think that album got the chance that it deserved. I certainly think it's probably your best album of all the ones that you've had out there, including the great stuff from the 80s. Any chance that album's going to see the light of day again, maybe get re-released?
I don't know anything about that, really. It's such a strange business now, that the business that I more or less grew up in, where you would go and sit behind a desk with a guy and you would say, I want to make an album, and he would give you a lump of money, and you would try and make it. That seems to be over. And it's more like you've got to work out different routes of distribution. The fact that albums themselves are not strong anymore, that people go on iTunes and they pick 3 tracks rather than listening to 10 tracks. I think you've just got to consider that things are different. Things might come out again. I don't know about the album format now, which I really loved. I used to love. I love vinyl. I love getting up and walking to the record player, turning it over, and making the decision to play side 2.
Well, it's nice to know you're a man after my own heart, too. I love vinyl, and what's funny is, a lot of those songs back in the day, the B-sides actually went on to become the hits,
Absolutely. Well, I like the little quiet tracks on albums as well, the ones that aren't obvious singles, but are very important for making a good album,
One of the things that I've noticed that iTunes is doing, that, a lot of artists, like maybe yourself, if they get the rights to their albums back, a lot of them are putting them up on iTunes, and as long as you have one copy of the album that's, sound quality is pretty good, you can certainly upload it for people to, download for pay. But, what a lot of artists are doing now these days is, you mentioned, maybe someone downloading 2 or 3 songs and, maybe not the album. iTunes, if you want like that big song, a lot of artists are saying, like album only for that track. And so therefore you're kind of, forced to buy the whole album, which is certainly good for the artist, when you want something, when you're trying to sell your material,
Yes. So much marketing is now doing via adverts on the TV, via soundtracks. It's a very different game, and you've got to play with the game that's going now. It's exciting in a way.
Well, yeah, I mean, it really is, and that kind of leads me to my next question. Speaking of adverts or commercials, like here in the States, Chips Ahoy took "Don't You Want Me" and kind of used it in a commercial, and of course I'm assuming that you signed off on it. But I have children ages 1 through 12 here, and they love that song. They love the commercial. So it's kind of and I was like 11 when the song was out. So it's kind of like a new generation of fans are finding your music, even though it's through a commercial. Is that something that you enjoyed?
I've ended up being quite happy about it. We had a little thing where someone in Britain, against our wishes, did a comedy version of the song for a car firm in Britain, and I was was up in arms about it first. I wanted to try and sue them and things. And then some people said, well, actually it's funny. And I thought, well, it's 25 years old. Why am I worried? It's not going to spoil it. People are still going to love the song if they already love it. I might as well just sit back, get a bit of extra money in my back pocket and work on the next stuff.
Well, yeah, and I think that's a fair approach for you to go, hey, wait a minute, what's going on here? I'm very serious about my music. Why is it ending up in a commercial? But it does, a couple of things. One, it gets you paid, which is always nice, and two, it's an opportunity to reach out to some new fans, gain some new fans over that. And as I told you, my kids love that song, and so whenever I play it in the car or on the show or the video comes on or what have you, they're always singing at least the chorus, if anything.
It's a funny thing that, because I'm actually very serious about it. We always end the show with "Don't You Want Me," and I think there's always going to be a movement where people want you to laugh at what you used to do, and I hate it. Even if I get a couple of the lyrics wrong in that, it looks like people don't take it seriously. So whatever other people want to do with it, to me it was a very serious song. I'm never even going to do it with a smile on my face. I'm proud that we did that record, and I'm proud that we put it out and didn't manage to spoil it, which is what we did to a lot of the others. You work so hard that you go through the good part and add a load of rubbish, and we stopped at the right time with that one.
Let's talk a little bit about your vocal style. I think that you've come up with a style and a sound that really no one can emulate or even has really tried to emulate, so it just kind of makes it even more unique. Can you tell us a little bit about how you came up with your sound?
Well, it's funny, but I ended up in the band. I joined the band, and I was less good at playing keyboards than everybody else, so I ended up at the front doing the singing. Really, I'd been told that I couldn't sing before that I was out of tune, and a lot of the time I'm trying to sing like Iggy Pop or David Bowie. If I ever have a difficulty, I try and think what they would do to sing it. Whether I end up the same as them or different than them, I'm not sure, but I have finally become a confident singer. I'm confident that I can sing well enough on stage, but a lot of the time I'm leaning on some of my heroes.
And we're talking to Phil Oakey, lead singer, chief songwriter for the Human League. Let's talk a little bit about your stage show. I had a chance to see you guys in LA back in August. Literally had front row seats and was just blown away. First of all, you guys looked great, you sounded great, but the stage show was very, I don't know. It was very. It was neat. I don't know. I can't think of the words. It was it's something that everyone should have a chance to see. Can you talk to us a little bit about the stage show?
The new stage shows more or less happened by accident. That when we first started in 1977, we were four boring guys, and we got a guy with slides to just keep it going, so that people would have something to look at while we played. And as we developed, we became more of a pop band with Joanne and Susan, and we went away from that. We just did the shows without any sort of vision at all. And the last time a guy joined us to do the lighting, he's got a sideline in doing moving visuals with his lighting. He's actually a very good lighting engineer as well. But he added that, and slowly he added stuff that looked like we were doing in 1977, and he didn't even know what we were doing then. So we've got a little thing going. We go and try and do our best on the stage, but also some of the tracks are fairly atmospheric. I think that some of the tracks are quite like soundtracks, and it's great that Rob is putting little key visuals in the background to make people think, and just to not let it be too boring.
Well, I got to tell you, the show in LA, I see a lot of shows, and it was hands down one of the best shows I've seen in a very, very long time.
It was a good show in Los Angeles. It went so well. We were very lucky that night. Everything went well.
Well, I think you're singing great, and there you are singing live without a net. You don't get a chance to go back and punch red or anything like that if you make a mistake.
I'm finally enjoying it.
well, good, because it's always nice to enjoy, what you're doing. Well, we're wrapping up with Phil Oakey, lead singer, chief songwriter for the Human League. Phil, listen, don't be a stranger when you guys have something new. Make sure that we are in the mix there. We'd love to embrace it and get it out there, make people aware of the new music.
Yeah. Oh, thank you very much. Thanks a lot for your help through the years. Really, you've been playing our stuff, and it's all we wanted people to do.
Well, it's been my pleasure. I mean, it's not like it's been a hard thing to do. It's great music. So once again, thank you, Phil, for your time. We appreciate you taking the time out to catch up with us here on Retro Rewind.
Thank you very much, Dave. Thanks. Hope I can talk to you again.
Retro Rewind.